Hello and welcome back to Chill Under Pressure. I'm Les.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Aaron.
Aaron Gibson, Soul Man Live. Are you over 100 or 200 episodes on Soul Man Live?
We officially hit over 100 episodes. We are season 4.5 due on September 4th.
I saw the 100th episode, watched that again last night, and it was like, yeah, it was awesome. Like, it was like June 5 or something, I think.
Yes, it was.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
You have a really interesting style to your material. Your whole premise is unique in what you're targeting and what you're talking about. Tell our audience a little bit about that and what it is that your kind of mission is.
My mission started off to be a mental health advocate within skilled trades. It was something that was almost similar to the 80s where it was swept under the carpet and there wasn't a whole lot of recognition. And when I started to implement certain things, I found that I got a lot more productivity out of my job sites. And basically it just became a mental health push for everyone to embrace their vulnerable side, take that chance on themselves and reach out, get the right help that you need if you're struggling with a mental adversity. Basically come watch the show and learn from the people that have already gone through that experience. And maybe there's something in their journey that you can apply into your world and then start to really improve your world towards your own happiness and peace.
And know that you're not alone.
Yes, 100%.
Right? It's not necessarily just a me thing. Yeah. There's other people that are having these, different struggles that are related to mine. Right. So it gets you off an isolated place.
When I grew up, seeking help in that regard or counsel in that regard, you wouldn't talk to your shrink, right? Like that kind of a negativity about mental health and just like that's a weakness or a flaw. And I remember feeling that way while I was launching our first business together in Rapid. And I was a decade into this thing and I was not doing well from a mental health perspective. And I remember reaching out to my dad and he goes, Adam, I'm buried and I can't help you. And I'm not the right person to help you. You need help. And I was like, yeah, Dad, I don't know about that. And he goes, do you know that I get help? I sought professional help in that area. And it's not always professional help, but that was our story, right? And it broke down that barrier of going, admitting vulnerability and finding somebody to talk to. And whether that's a mentor or a professional or a group or finding these outlets is so important. Saying that to me was like kind of shocking, right? I was like, really? Because my dad was a tough guy, he's like, I don't need help.
Broke down the stigma for you.
Yeah, he broke it down. And so I'm glad that, you're doing it. I'm glad you're talking about it and it's real. And you also have a really unique way of handling this on your own. So, from your side, what do you do to have a better mental health perspective, like in order to take care of yourself, right? How do you care for yourself?
So for me, it all began about 6 years ago. At one point, the market for skilled trades was drastically impacted. The economy was down, not as many new homes were going up, and it became a fight to find a good job that had a good, healthy work environment of, okay, we're not going to focus around stuff that's been going on 30 years ago. Let's focus on what's happening today, what's happening tomorrow, and plan for the future so that we have a proactive response rather than a reactive response. At that point, work was hard and I couldn't find anything. Lived for 2 months out of my car on raw craft dinner and tuna. Busted up all my teeth. That's why I'm missing a lot of my teeth out of my head. It's not from hockey. I wish I could have that excuse.
I love hearing you say craft dinner. My wife's a Canadian citizen and she's living in the US with me at this point, but it's mac and cheese for all of us.
Yep.
Regular American people, but it makes me happy. She grew up in Ontario. Sorry to interrupt your spiel, but I love the Canadianisms. They make me happy.
Open table.
They make me happy. Just things that make my soul smile.
So at that point, I was going through a lot of the same understandings of the stigmas that were behind mental health. I volunteered into a kind of like anger management after the military, because when I got out of the military, I was like, why am I the only one working and there's 6 guys hanging around smoking and joking? I'm the only one production here. If we all work together, we can be done this sooner and get home sooner, which is kind of the goal, right? Work to live, not live to work.
Right.
And so I was getting really frustrated with the way the work culture was when I got out of the military, because you come from this well-oiled machine and then into Oh, let's just stand around for 45 minutes waiting for material. Well, no, let's do some job site cleanup. Let's do some mark out. Let's get a plan of attack going so that when the stuff does show, we're off to the races. And of course, coming into a culture where it's like, no, we're working kind of laid back time here. And you're used to just, no, let's go make it happen. I built those frustrations, did the anger management course to help me start to understand. But after I hit rock bottom, I was working a corporate job, lost the corporate job because I thought I had a heart attack. It wasn't a heart attack, ended up being an anxiety attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky enough that the doctor that I had seen that day comes in, he goes, "You got the heart of a bull. I'm shocked. You're a smoker and you should be far ahead. But what you experienced was what I would refer to as an anxiety attack." And I just wanted to say, off record, that I've dealt with colleagues even in the doctor's field. And I strongly encourage you to reach out to your doctor and see about some therapy and getting things sorted out for you. And lucky enough, you're ex-military. There's a veterans program that's available for you to get into. And so it was a big time commitment in an already struggling market. I did end up finding work, made it back into a rental situation. And during that time, started to learn a lot about myself, break down a lot of the stigmas that were carrying me, and basically took my vulnerability and turned it to a whole new set of armor for people to reach out to, both within the workplace and outside of the workplace. It really allowed me to focus on myself, and it in turn monumentally increased my productivity, created a much more healthier work environment for those that were working around me. And again, knowing like, yeah, we have business to do, but you know what, if you're having a bad day and you seriously want to take 5 minutes, let's do that.
Yeah.
One of the scariest things you can do is invest in learning more about yourself. And then one of the hardest things you can do is work on you. It's a difficult road. It's a challenge just to get started. God cut me open at one point and revealed me to me, and it was hard. Right? And then you get to go, what am I going to do with this information that has been revealed to me about me? And so that prompts you into, well, hey, how can I help others? And in doing that, I mean, for most people, that also helps the work and helps the mind space, right?
Happy bees are busy bees. You attract more bees with honey than you do with vinegar, and you come in with a good, healthy approach to your job, then things run smoothly. And again, an open space to just say, hey, if I'm having a rough day, okay, cool. No, it's not a sign of weakness. It's just acknowledging and communicating where you're at, which is, okay, well, I'll be a little bit kind to you on this one. We'll get you doing more cleanup and, making sure that you're not going to basically get sick inside of the house and, keep you outside so that you're not stinking up the homeowner's house, because we sometimes admit after we've had a good night of drinking. So, kept him to the remote, happy, and next day came back working harder. I want to be in the house. I want to be doing the meat and potatoes today. Okay, well, you're good to go. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creating a healthy work environment where people can fail and yet not be persecuted for it. And, obviously at some point somebody continues to do those kinds of things, then they have a different problem. But not creating an environment where people can be open and honest and say, this is my reality right now. And you're actually protecting the organization when you enable that. That's like the corporate speak side, right? I mean, that's true of the company. It's true for the client. But it also is truly caring for the individual who's struggling, whether that be because they've tied them on too much the night before or something more. Like I got into this huge fight with my wife or with my kid, and I just can't get it out of my head. And I just need a minute. We have that a fair bit. If you're going to be on team with great people and try to do something cool, and that could be a work team, that could be a nonprofit organization that you're part of, could be a social group, right? A friend group. You have to care about the people that you're doing that with, and enough so that you give space. And in a work environment, it's tough because you're like, well, you're getting paid, and you need a week, dude. Like you just need to disappear. You need to go sort this out with your wife or whatever. And it's like, man, that's hard. But as a team, you go, well, I'll pick up a little of that. Somebody else will pick it up, pick up that load. We'll just give Kirsten. She's our producer on the show, but she's also awesome on our team. We'll just have Kirsten handle it all. And
production.
until she crashes out. I don't know what we're going to do that, but no, it's that thing of shared load too, and helping each other. And I think that's good. And you're doing that through Soul Man Live, right? You're doing that through your show too, creating space and creating a community. And that's really neat.
It's amazing what a skilled trades person can do, right?
Yeah, right. Well, we got together at HVAC Excellence and we were hanging out around a table, and the stuff that you're talking about, how, you're using AI to do these pieces and you're building music and you're doing all these things. And it's just cool. I mean, it's really cool. So you're big into music. Have you always been like super musical, or is this a part of like, hey, this is a way I can decompress and I can...
Well, you guys are going to love this. So hashtag Gen X time. How did we grow up? All right. For those that were down in the US, it was probably MTV. For those of up here in Canada, we probably grew up on Much Music, but it was all the same stuff, which is music. And we take a look at history. There's that old saying that music tames the savage beast. Mm-hmm. And music is a major part of therapy in a lot of other therapies as well, where you're taking self-care time, a time out, find something that's going to chill and relax you or get you out of that mood or mode. Hashtag mental health break, and relive some of this. A lot of us that were Gen X, we grew up off of those shows and we hear those songs and we can go back and we see the epic, so cool videos that were done back in that time. And they didn't even have to make sense. That's why a lot of my stuff doesn't make sense, because I'm just emulating what happened in the 80s. So yeah, the music tames the savage beast. It's how a lot of us skilled trades get through the day. And when we get into that mode and we need an escape, music is usually our number one thing. If you're ready to haul off an install, you're probably got something a little bit hyped up, motivating, and then by the end of the day, it's like, oh, a little bit of Santana, let's start down, clean up happening, and we're on our way out. So music as mental health, as part of my show, is a major pillar for it. Yeah. I wanted people to have those moments like we had back in Gen X time during the show. So that's why you get approximately a 30-minute concert, but we've got some new stuff coming up for the fall.
That's cool. We'll check it out. I mean, you do like music videos too. I mean, it's not just music. I mean, of course, you can listen to the show, but if you're watching it, like, you've got all kinds of stuff going on. The one on the episode I was just watching, you had just rolled out. What was it, like, not a leprechaun? What was the character in the
hashtag Gremlins?
Gremlins. That's what it was. I was like, I just mentally blocked on it. But yes. It was
so when things go wrong at the install, damn Gremlins. Blame the Gremlins.
And the information you sent over to us, just change up a little bit. You said the birth of your son motivated you to get into social media?
100%. It was my son Dylan that said, "Dad, you're pretty funny. You should get on TikTok or something." And so I was like, I have to start looking towards retirement. I got to have something for retirement. We'll give it a shot. We'll give it a try. Yeah. And took that chance, and within a year I jumped from 200 to 300 followers up to I think at that point 11,000 followers.
Nice.
Wow.
So it was a very quick transition and kind of thrown into it, and not really knowing much about social media or how to do it. I was just something that I told my son that I was going to do this, that I was always going to remain genuinely and authentically myself.
Yeah.
So the same person that you see on screen is the same person that you meet at HVAC Excellence, which is the same person that you meet if I'm just crawling out of bed. I'm just going to be me.
So what was your official launch into the social media after that?
I actually started in production with Voice Your Vibe. I was hired on as a volunteer remote executive producer. So I was working for production. So I was doing all the video clips, putting stuff together for them on the show. And then when they were live, I was running cameras and throwing up their banners and doing all the fun stuff. So I was the background guy.
Okay.
And then about a year and a half later, my people, Brian Schulman and Nancy Deborah Barrows, love you to pieces, were teaching me about the value of burnout, doing this and making sure that you're balancing your bandwidth. And I didn't fully get it at that time. I mean, you find like, when you first get into this, there's like an adrenaline rush. Like this is something new, and everybody kind of relates to that, where it's like, ooh, fresh, new, and I like this. And they had told me about burnout, and then I started recognizing the signs of burnout in them. And I was like, guys, I'm your producer. I got to tell you the hard stuff. Like, you need a break. If we're going to pitch stuff out, we need to be able to eat our own stuff. So they did. They ended up going on a hiatus. And at that point, I was like, their show really was my show was inspired by theirs.
Hmm.
For them, it was about bringing people on and talking about, again, simple things that really mean something to our generation, which was, what Saturday morning cartoon did you watch? What kind of cereal did you eat?
Mm-hmm.
And what were you aspiring to grow up to? And the whole vibe behind it, voice your vibe, was it took me back to a moment where we didn't have to worry about bills. We didn't have to worry about anything other than maybe our chores and plunking our butts in front of the radio or the TV. And I was really inspired by that because it was like, wow, you guys just literally removed me out of a very stressful, tense situation. And I just completely relaxed.
Yeah, because you transported in time, just like the music on videos and on things we listen to as kids.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can't leave their flame alone. They're on hiatus. We're going to continue to promote them, but I'm going to do my stuff, which was it's time to show that you can go through all the therapy. We can break down the walls on stigmas. You can start to really reclaim your own happiness, your peace, and start to work towards your goals and achieve them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's very fantastic. So in addition to all of this, right, you're also a national technical trainer, right?
Yes, I am.
And that's for who?
That is for Ream Canada.
Ream Canada. Okay.
Nice.
So how much do you travel a lot for that, or what's that look like for you?
So this show goes on the road with me. I literally do all the production for my show off of my phone for the last 3 years solid. All of my work is done completely off of my phone while I'm traveling.
It's insane that you can even say that.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that you put out is so cool. And to be like, yeah, I just did that on my phone. I mean, that's what you were saying at Excellence.
I appreciate a good studio. Trust me, I really love a good studio. I didn't always have it. I normally just had a bookshelf with some cereals in behind, so it's an involvement. We work up to these things.
Yeah.
And work up to using only the phone to get it all done. I think that's a good working up to instead of the other way around.
So
I do an incredible amount of traveling, and I travel basically from up here in Canada, rather than states. We have our provinces, in case you're unawares. I like to be thoughtful of everybody.
When did they get cars in Canada? I thought it was all dog sleds.
Right? No, it's horseback out here.
Oh, horseback. That's right.
So I take care of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia. And I travel all from city to city, town to town. It is very similar to a traveling rock style life where you are checking into a hotel in the morning or in the evening. You're checking out the next morning. You're going off to do your presentation, then you're off to the next city.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets it gets fun, but it's very rewarding.
how many training days a year do you do for that?
Best way to describe it is during springtime and fall time. I'm pretty nonstop. Sometimes it runs a little bit late into the summer, but usually summer and wintertime are slowdown periods because
that's when the trades are busy.
Times.
Yeah.
Contractors are busy either doing air conditioning or heating at that point. So
That's a full schedule, man.
Yeah.
That's a full schedule.
some long days.
What's up and coming for you? More like, is there anything outside of this that you're adding to because, you're not doing enough already or anything like that? Or,
Well, you just talked about
yeah.
something that's coming up soon that you're doing some changes to the,
Yeah.
so.
Is that something you want to talk about, or is that like we got to do an NDA or something before we talk about that?
No, it's all good. Yeah, Soul Man Live is a nonprofit. So we've got some major production changes on how the show operates come September. We're going to take a little bit of the old from a little bit of the new, and we're going to combine things and just create a little bit more fluid.
What are some of the highlights for you? Like, I mean, with the people you're communicating with and people coming in vulnerable spaces, I mean, I'm sure there's lots.
Some of my biggest moments are during the presentations when you can actually see guys light up. And shout out to Jerry Wagner, because he talked about this at CMPX Toronto this year, is that us as trainers need to understand that we are continued education after skilled trades. Our job is to orientate, make sure that these guys understand the equipment so that if they have to perform surgery or do the install, that they're not spinning their wheels in the mud. And to see guys light up and go, that was a cool life hack. One of the things, because I give over 25 years of experience on what works, what doesn't work. And one of the things is I love watching guys light up on, which is a skill that I learned through my technical training, which was when you're doing your copper lines for your ACE line sets, using the process of annealing to soften that copper so you don't have all the ripples or ribs when you're doing your bend. And that for me is a highlight. Every time I see guys like, because you
That
can
makes
see the guys that
sense.
really genuinely
Yeah.
care about making a nice, clean system,
Mhm.
and the guys that are just like, oh, well, I don't have time to do that. It doesn't take that long.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it makes you look so much better.
Yeah, in my house, no chance. They didn't do it. Right. But it is such a difference. One looks so professional, and for the extra 2 minutes, or I mean, it's just not that much time. That might be an exaggeration, but it's not that much time to really dress the job and make it look good. And that's one way to do it.
I saw a simple one you did where you carry you carried washers with you for the mounting bracket to make everything flush, right? I think, so that was
Simple
just
things make
simple
a big
thing.
difference.
Here's how you can do this. And now we have a little bit of space, so we're going to fill that with some silicone, keep the water from coming in, and it's going to stabilize it. So
100%.
simple stuff like that. What about moments with Soul Man Live where the things that stand out where you're like, that's why I do this?
Was actually at HVAC Excellence to be recognized as an influence within the HVAC field, both within training and what I'm doing for social media. That was the big highlight of my year this year. That was something I never had any mind of, or even had in my block of things to do or have in my bucket list. It was such a gracious nomination, and I was just blown away by it.
Yeah, because it comes from peers.
Give back.
Awesome. Yeah. Our podcast is a little weird, right? So this is kind of our release. Like we do this on Fridays, and we do it because, we're grinding away, building a business, working together. We're building a team, all these things. And then we get to hang out with really cool people and hear their stories and what they're doing and how they're changing their community. And that community could be a social community, like an online community, could be their work community, could be a nonprofit community. We just had Leilani with Grit on, and getting to talk about what they're doing. And so for me, this is like a mental health moment. Like, these are great releases. You remember, I get to think back about how I came into the industry, and I get to think about the stories of the people that have influenced my life. And when I'm talking to you and hearing them, like, yeah, that's right. Or when somebody talks about how they got into it and they were a kid and they lugged around their dad's bag, whatever. Mine was my uncle, and I didn't get dragged in kicking and screaming. He paid attention to me and mentored me, and I got to be a part of it. So like, as you're talking about the things that you're doing and the training, I'm like, yeah, that is it. Like watching a master at work and going, oh, or the light comes on because you had this problem and you never really, you got it to go, but you never felt like you really grasped it. And then all of a sudden somebody walks you through it and you're like, oh, that's what was going on. And, just, those are cool moments.
Think about the first time you were calculating your either for superheat or subcool.
Yeah. Doing math.
Right?
Fractions.
We were talking about math earlier today. Les was picking on Les about his math skills.
Yeah. Where they brought up fractions, I almost fell off my chair. I was like, oh, there's not a test.
There's no test.
What do you do in your off time other than listen to the music and kind of take a break there? What do you do? What are some things you like
I
to
ever
do?
sit still, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So I started to structure my show more around like normal TV, where again, springtime, you have those couple of months and then they go into their summer break and then they're back in the fall, which was kind of a good balance to, again, start giving myself some more self-care time. It is just one big orchestra of balance of bandwidth. I make sure that I get my self-care time in to relax. It's for me to sit down and write out my lyrics for the next song.
That's cool.
Or spend time with my son. Spending time with my son is just absolutely precious to me, even though he's 15 years old and has a garbage issue when it's only 2 feet away. I'm still loving the pieces.
Yeah, that's
sounds about
normal,
right.
man. That's a process. That's a process. But I get that, right? Because when my kids are at my house that have moved out, that in and of itself is gratifying. Just they could take a nap, they could work on whether they're whatever's going on. It's just the proximity. And even if they, when they leave, even if we haven't been involved in something, right, they're just hanging out, and then it's their go. You're like, that kind of sucks. Doesn't matter what the time is. Come over, take a nap if you need to. There's be in the house. So
if you think about it, it's the same thing when we're working in HVAC, right? You're sitting there and it's usually about 5-10 minutes before bed. Yeah, I did that gas pressure. I made sure the plug was back in. Did I make sure I had all my tools?
Left my clipboard on top of the unit. Oops, sorry. Paper days. Back in the paper days.
Yeah. So yeah, there is all that stuff. It's like, well, and as an owner of business, I'd lay in bed and going, I hope they strap the ladder down. Like,
I've been behind one of my own vehicles and had just watched the ladder come out of the vehicle at me, and I'm like, okay, this is not great. So
it's okay. I was just thinking about that. Oh yeah, that long time that I needed to make sure that I buy a bike lock so that somebody didn't steal my ladder the next time I went up to check on a rooftop unit, and then come back to find that somebody's taken it.
Yeah.
And have to call my boss to say, yeah, you're going to have to rescue me from a roof.
Stole the ladder while you were in use, like on the building. That's a bad.
So I climbed up, and this had never happened to me before. That was about the 19-year marker. Been able to set up my ladder, go up the roof access, and come back down, no problem. And then, the one time it was like, I'm daring, but I'm not going to do that 15-foot drop, breaking something. So you got to come rescue me. So I went out and bought a bike lock the next time. So I locked right to the wrong.
Wow. Glad you looked on that way down for that roof access.
I'm glad I took my phone.
That's because you need your phone anyway to do.
That's the FM Hero talk.
That's the FM Hero talk. Can't help myself.
That's fantastic. Is there anything else you want to cover with what you're doing, or?
For me, it's always about paying it forward onto the next person. Okay. So make sure that you're subscribing to FM Hero. Make sure that you're checking out their old episodes and the new episodes coming up. Just channel in.
Do the same thing. Go to Soul Man Live. Sign up.
Yep. Check it out.
Check out what Aaron's got going on. It's pretty awesome.
Be healthy. Make sure you're communicating with people and letting them know that you need good people that you can be vulnerable with. If you're not willing to do that, or you don't have those people, it can get dark. So
and
you need to seek that out. And
then, really healthy people can help other healthy people. And so look around and pay attention and think about what's, that other person and why, that seems weird. They never do that. What's going on? And ask. Yeah. Engage with folks. The best mental health things that have happened to me because other people were looking out for me and saying, hey, are you all right? And it's like, you know what? Really, I'm not. Really not okay. And so, when you are in a good spot, look out for others. And when you're not, get some help. Yeah. So thanks for what you're doing in that space. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you guys. Well, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thanks again for joining us on Chill Under Pressure. I'm Les. I'm Adam. And I'm Aaron. We'll see you next time.